Welcome to the Lost in History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. The image shows one of the earliest known photographs taken after the incident at Chernobyl, captured by a photographer in the early hours of April 26, 1986. Recorded shortly after the event, the photo reveals the unusual glow in the sky, visible from a distance, reflecting the initial moment of one of the most significant events in history. Members of a youth group took part in a ceremony in 1936 in the forest of Blois. They stood near the coffins of students who died during a walk. The photo records a moment in the history of that time. The last known photograph of volcanologist David Alexander Johnston was taken about 13 hours before the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. In the image, he appears at his observation post, focused on monitoring the volcano's activity. The image shows a young Wehrmacht soldier. He was only 10 years old when he was captured in the city of Kronach in Germany on April 27, 1945. The photo records a moment from the end of the Second World War. On November 4, 1966, Venice, Italy, faced one of the largest floods in its history, with the tide reaching approximately 6 feet 4 inches above normal. The water remained above about 3 feet 7 inches for more than 22 hours and exceeded about 1 foot 8 inches for almost 2 full days. On November 4, 1940, a bride is photographed, leaving her recently damaged home to proceed to the place of her wedding in London. Despite the visible destruction around her, caused by the bombings of that period, she continues with serenity and dignity, dressed in white, symbolizing hope. In 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, Vasily Arkhipov, an officer in the Soviet Navy, was aboard a submarine equipped with nuclear weapons. He was one of the 3 officers whose approval was required to authorize a launch. New York, 1918. During the final months of the First World War, a large pyramid made of captured German helmets was assembled as part of a public exhibition. A farmer and his children facing the hardships of a dust storm in 1936 during the Dust Bowl period. The image portrays the daily struggle of families in the central United States, affected by long periods of drought and strong winds that destroyed crops and covered everything with dust. This photograph was taken in 1971 in the Bogside area in Londonderry, Northern Ireland. The image shows a moment of life in the local community. Don McCullen, the photographer, recorded important scenes from that time to document the region's history. In 1944, the French singer Edith Piaf visited a prisoner camp in occupied Germany, where she gave a special performance for about 120 detainees. During her visit, a photograph was taken beside the prisoners as a keepsake of that moment of relief and humanity amid difficult circumstances. Germany, 1986. A worker discards vegetables after the incident at the Chernobyl power plant. At the time, fallout from Eastern Europe spread into parts of Western Europe, leading authorities to take precautionary measures such as discarding food that could have been affected. In 1955, the legendary jazz singer Ella Fitzgerald was detained after performing for an integrated audience at a time when racial segregation laws were still in force in various parts of the United States. A young couple quietly dances to pass the time during the protests in Tiananmen Square in 1989 in Beijing, China. Amid tension and uncertainty, the simple, light gesture highlighted a moment of humanity and connection among people gathered for a common ideal. On August 27, 1958, at the Kapustin Yar test range, the Soviet Union recovered the nose section of the R-5A rocket and a spotted dog after the completion of a test flight. Preserved skulls of saints are kept at the Neamț Monastery in Romania, dating to the 15th century. These sacred relics are considered of great spiritual importance by the Orthodox Christian tradition and are carefully safeguarded and venerated by the faithful. Painters on top of the Woolworth Building in New York City in 1926. The image shows workers balanced on high scaffolds, performing maintenance on one of the tallest buildings in the world at the time. The face of an ice hockey goalkeeper before the use of masks in 1966. During this time, it was common for players to perform without facial protection, which left them exposed to high-speed impacts. In the 1930s, this couple won a dance marathon in Atlantic City after dancing for an impressive 1,173 hours. These competitions were popular at the time and put participants to the test for weeks on end. Many reached the point of falling asleep while standing during the dance. 1917, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Young people gather pieces of coal left in freight train yards. During this period, it was common for families with limited means to seek alternative ways to obtain fuel for heating and cooking. Two little girls in a modest New York neighborhood, sitting on a stoop while sharing a large loaf of bread and a pretzel. The image was recorded around 1890. The scene portrays the simple daily life of many immigrant families in the city, in a time marked by social and economic challenges. This color image shows a fighter in a militia during the Spanish Revolution of 1936. The photo records an important moment in the history of Spain in the 20th century. The militias were groups organized to defend ideas and communities at the time. In October 1956, British forces took part in a military offensive in Egypt during the Suez Crisis. The action was coordinated with France and Israel after the nationalization of the Suez Canal by Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. In 1965, a young United States Navy soldier is seen waiting on the beach during the arrival of troops in Da Nang, Vietnam. This image marks the beginning of an expanded military presence in the region, in one of the most significant moments of the United States' involvement in Southeast Asia. Indian soldiers serving in France in 1914 during the First World War. These fighters were part of the forces of the British Empire and were sent to the front lines in Europe in the very first months of the conflict. In 1945, as Soviet troops approached Berlin, city residents tried to care for the animals at the local zoo amid a delicate situation. Even in times of great uncertainty, there were efforts to protect the animals and ensure they had shelter and food. An Austrian boy smiles as he receives a new pair of shoes during the Second World War. The image records a moment of simplicity and hope amid a difficult period. Small gestures like this carried great meaning in times of scarcity, especially for children affected by wartime conditions. The interior of the Maserati Boomerang, a 1971 concept model, reveals a futuristic and bold design for the time. With a steering wheel integrated into the dashboard and instruments arranged in a circular layout around the driver, the cockpit looked as if it came out of a science fiction movie. In November 1948, brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald pose in front of the first McDonald's restaurant, not yet opened, in San Bernardino, California. They reworked the concept of a fast restaurant, introducing an efficient preparation system that would soon draw great attention. In 1934, the first Moscow metro train made its test run, marking the beginning of one of the world's most famous underground systems. The subway was designed not only as an efficient means of transport, but also as a symbol of progress. In June 1944, during the Normandy campaign, a curious and symbolic gesture took place. British breweries such as Henniger and Constable sent fresh beer to Allied troops using a Spitfire Mark IX fighter aircraft. In 1959, an upper limb prosthesis was developed for a 17-year-old American, representing an important advance in assistive technology of the time. Made with lightweight, articulated materials, the prosthesis allowed the user to perform basic movements, contributing to autonomy and quality of life. During the hard times of the Great Depression, many mothers sewed clothes for their children using flour sacks due to a lack of fabric. Upon learning of this reality, some producers began printing colorful patterns and cheerful designs on the sacks, making them more suitable to turn into clothing. Engineers made the decision to split the structure, weighing approximately 8,378 tons, into two parts. This procedure required advanced technical planning, precision, and great care to ensure that the entire operation was carried out safely. In 1974, Elton John is photographed aboard his private jet, equipped with a luxurious piano bar. Known for his extravagant style and unique personality, the singer took his passion for music, even on trips, turning the airplane into an extension of his artistic lifestyle. In 1977, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill recreate the famous pose from the original Star Wars poster, shortly after the release of the film that would become a landmark of pop culture. In 1922, Albert Einstein was photographed at a meeting with indigenous representatives during one of his international travels. The image shows the physicist in a moment of cultural exchange, reflecting his interest in different peoples and traditions. This old photograph was taken in 1865 in Japan during the Edo period. The image shows a samurai who was a warrior of the time. The photo was made by Felice Beato, one of the first photographers to record scenes of Japan. Venice, Italy, 1955. Sophia Loren is photographed in a moment of natural elegance in the city streets. An icon of Italian cinema, she drew attention not only for her beauty, but also for her talent and striking on-screen presence. The actress Scylla Gabel, who worked as a body double for Sophia Loren, photographed in 1961. Before pursuing her own career in Italian cinema, Gabel took part in several productions in which her physical resemblance to Loren was used in specific scenes. Leonardo DiCaprio, in 1995, appears in a relaxed moment at the beginning of his rise in Hollywood. At the time, he was already drawing attention for his roles in films such as What's Eating Gilbert Grape and The Basketball Diaries. In 1986, Bill Watterson, creator of the famous comic strip Calvin and Hobbes, gained prominence for the success of his work in newspapers. The strip, known for intelligent humor and reflections on childhood, imagination, and everyday life, quickly won readers around the world. Chris Farley, in his first year at Marquette University in 1982. During this period, he joined the school's rugby team, known for the good-humored motto, "We may lose the game, but we will win the party." Danny Trejo, alongside Antonio Banderas, behind the scenes of the film Desperado in 1995. The pair appears relaxed between takes of the feature directed by Robert Rodriguez. Desperado became a landmark of 1990s action cinema, highlighting the director's unique visual style and the chemistry between the actors. In 1985, a remarkable event brought together prominent figures. Tom Selleck, Clint Eastwood, and Princess Diana were seen dancing during an elegant reception. The occasion symbolized the meeting between Hollywood stars and British royalty, reflecting the era's charm, elegance, and public fascination. In 1992, the cast of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air paid a visit to the Playboy Mansion in Los Angeles. The moment brought the actors together in a relaxed setting outside the recording studios. In 1988, Arnold Schwarzenegger greets fans during his visit to Moscow in the then Soviet Union. The presence of the Hollywood star drew great attention, gathering excited crowds to see him up close. The band Pantera performed at the Monsters of Rock Festival in Tushino, Moscow, in 1991. The event brought together thousands of fans and marked an important moment in Russia's cultural opening to international rock. Players from Korea celebrate after defeating Italy in the 1966 World Cup. The image shows the team's joy at an important moment in the international soccer tournament. The 1966 World Cup was held in England. This is the oldest known photo of Elvis Presley, taken in 1938. In the image, Elvis appears with his parents, Gladys and Vernon. The photo shows the beginning of the story of a person who would later become very famous in music. This is a promotional photo from 1964 with Julia Child, known as the French chef. Julia Child was a chef who helped many people learn about French cuisine. The image shows an important moment in the history of television and gastronomy. Alexander Graham Bell is known for inventing the telephone in 1876. His work revolutionized the way people communicate, allowing for the first time the transmission of the human voice through wires over long distances. This 7-foot sword belonged to Gerlovs Donia, also known as Gruda Pir. He was a rebel leader of Frisia in the 16th century. Danya was somewhat taller than average. The photo was taken in 1951 at the Frisian Museum in Leeuwarden, the Netherlands. A Moskvich 412 car is seen crossing Westminster Bridge in London during the famous London-Sydney Rally in 1968. The Soviet vehicle took part in the international long-distance competition, which crossed continents and tested the endurance of cars and drivers on challenging routes. In the late 19th century, in the 1880s, people traveled inside train carriages like this. The image shows the interior of a passenger car with seats arranged for comfort during the journey. Riding a bicycle down the steps of the Capitol, Washington, D.C., 1895. The image shows a daring cyclist crossing the staircase of one of the most emblematic buildings of the United States, at a time when cycling was rapidly gaining popularity. Streetcar Terminal Number 58, Zuglige Station, Budapest, 1977. The image shows the endpoint of one of the historic lines of the Hungarian capital, amid a calm, tree-lined landscape. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, New York, between 1929 and 1960. During these decades, the event became a defining tradition in the United States, with giant balloons, floats, and performances that delighted families across the country. Photo recorded at the beginning of the 20th century. The image shows workers on their way to their jobs at a tobacco processing plant. Wearing simple clothing and walking in a group, they portray the daily routine of many people during a period of growing industrialization. Alfred Hitchcock dressed in elderly women's clothing around the early 1960s. Known for his peculiar sense of humor and unique style, the famous British director often took part in backstage pranks on his productions. Greyfriars Cemetery, Edinburgh, Scotland, around the 1850s. This historic place is known for its old architecture and quiet atmosphere, being one of the oldest and most visited cemeteries in the city. Staithes is a village located in the north of England. In the 19th century, this community was known for its fishing and for its houses near the sea. The image shows how people lived at that time, with boats and buildings typical of the region. In the 19th century, burlesque costumes were very different from what we know today. This image shows Eliza Blasina wearing a horse-shaped headdress. If you wish, there is a collection with 10 photos of burlesque performers from that era. In 1964, an image of a high-technology car for the time was recorded. The vehicle shows advances in design and automotive engineering of that period. Cars like this helped change the way people moved around and inspired future innovations in the automotive industry. In 1936, the maneuver known as a wheelie was recorded. The image shows a person lifting the front wheel of a bicycle or motorcycle while riding. This was the first photographic record of this technique. This photograph was taken in 1922. The image shows a man listening to music on an old record player. He is seated and paying attention to the sound coming from the device. The record player was a popular piece of equipment for listening to music at that time. In 1951, a striking hairstyle known as the nuclear mushroom inspired by the shape of a mushroom cloud, appeared. The style reflected the bold aesthetics of the time, and at the same time referenced the nuclear imagery that marked the post-war period. In 1959, teenagers took part in a curious and popular challenge of the time, seeing how many people could squeeze into a telephone booth at once. This game was a creative way to have fun before the arrival of the internet and smartphones, and it quickly became a trend among groups of young people around the world. A mugshot-style photo of little François Bertillon, only 2 years old, recorded in 1893. His crime? Eating all the pears in the basket. The image was made as a joke by his father, Alphonse Bertillon, the creator of the modern photographic identification system used by the police. Photographers rarely visited families on the frontier. When they went, families wanted to show how well they were living in the West. In this image, a family poses in front of the house. They show their large melons and a cow that seems almost to be climbing the house. An elderly pastor wearing traditional Tyrolean attire, photographed in Innsbruck, Austria, in the 1950s. With hat, vest, and clothing typical of the Alpine region, he represents the strong preservation of local cultural traditions after Europe's post-war Reconstruction period. The charming Baker sisters, photographed in 1955 in Columbus, Georgia. With aprons on and smiles on their faces, they prepare to bake a new batch of chocolate cookies, in a scene typical of American kitchens of the time. A crowded party in Shafter, Kern County, California, October 1938. The image shows a group of people gathered in a simple setting, celebrating with music and dance during a period of economic challenges in the interior of the United States. An ancient Greece sarcophagus dedicated to a small dog, carefully carved in stone, with a collar adorned with inlays that resemble jewelry. The animal rests on a cushion in a calm and dignified position. John F. Kennedy Jr., still a child, appears seated in the pilot's seat of the presidential helicopter Marine One around 1963. The scene, captured in a relaxed moment, shows the son of the President of the United States curiously exploring the controls of the official aircraft. Girls in Japan during the 1980s are seen in an everyday moment, reflecting the youth lifestyle of the time. With colorful clothing, characteristic hairstyles, and fashionable accessories, they represent a generation marked by the influence of pop culture, technological advancement, and the growing presence of Western trends in the country. In 1978, Christopher Wallace, who would later be known as the notorious B.I.G., is photographed after his kindergarten graduation. Still a child, he appears with a calm expression, wearing formal clothing for the occasion. The first taxi companies began circulating through the streets of St. Petersburg at the start of the 20th century, marking the beginning of motorized urban transport in the city. With simple vehicles and uniformed drivers, these taxis offered a new way to get around, especially for those who needed to move quickly amid the city's growth. In 1926, during the funeral of Felix Dzerzhinsky, founder of one of the earliest Soviet state security agencies, his coffin was carried by important political figures of the time, including Joseph Stalin and Leon Trotsky. In 1966, Bob Marley, at 20 years of age, is photographed on his wedding day with Rita Anderson in Jamaica. The moment marked the beginning of a personal and artistic partnership that would last for decades, with Rita also becoming a member of his backing band, the Wailers. Sandra Bullock and Adam Sandler, in 1994, photographed at the start of their successful paths in Hollywood. At the time, Sandra Bullock was gaining prominence with films such as Speed, while Adam Sandler was establishing himself as one of the leading names in comedy, coming from the program Saturday Night Live. Freddie Mercury, in the 1980s, is photographed in an intimate, calm moment, lying in bed beside his cats. Passionate about felines, the Queen vocalist often showed affection for his pets, who were an important part of his personal life. In the early 1960s, R. Lee Ermey was given by a judge the choice between a disciplinary path or joining the armed forces at 17 years old. He chose the United States Marine Corps, a decision that would shape his life and lead him to become a symbol of authenticity in military roles in film. Now, 8. United Kingdom, 8 1902. This area of London was known for its narrow streets and dense atmosphere at the end of the 19th century. In popular memory, 8 was marked by mysterious events that occurred years earlier, during a time of intense social and urban transformations. A colorized photo of a welder during the Second World War in 1945. Workers like this were essential in building and repairing ships, vehicles, and equipment, ensuring the functioning of the infrastructure needed for the collective effort. Sid Vicious, a member of the British band Sex Pistols, is seen in a rare moment as he heads to meet David Bowie. The image goes back to the late 1970s, a defining period of the punk movement in the United Kingdom, when Sid was one of the most recognized faces of the alternative music scene. Clint Eastwood during the filming of The Gauntlet, released in 1977. In the film, he plays a police officer tasked with escorting a witness along a route full of obstacles. The production is marked by intense action scenes and by Eastwood's own direction. July 1902, view of St. Mark's Square in Venice, Italy. The image shows the busy square with its historic buildings and nearby canals, capturing the city's charm at the start of the 20th century. Women wearing traditional attire ask a policeman for directions on Elgin Avenue, London, 1930s. The image shows the meeting of distinct cultures, with the visitors guided by a British policeman on a busy city street. In 1962, Kate Wald, also called Camber Day, cared for more than 600 dogs. She dedicated her life to helping these animals and never gave up on that task. The photo shows a woman committed to caring for dogs, demonstrating dedication and responsibility. In 1947, a woman was preparing pies for a dinner at the Methodist Church in Hartford, Michigan. The image shows a moment of work and collaboration in the local community. Events like this were important to bring people together and strengthen ties among church members. A fabric merchant in Samarkand, photographed by Sergei Prokudin-Gorsky in the 1910s in present-day Uzbekistan. The image shows a trader in traditional clothing, surrounded by colorful, detailed fabrics, reflecting the region's rich textile tradition. This is an aerial photograph made around 1917 during a military action in the Somme region in France. The image shows the area where troop movements occurred in that period. Photographs like this helped to better understand the terrain and the strategies used at the time. On June 3, 1945, a German civilian observes a large portrait of Stalin in central Berlin. The image shows an important moment right after the end of the Second World War, reflecting changes in the city and in world history.